Welcome back to the Arsenal podcast, guys. Let's talk about Dominick Szoboszlai. There's so many stories around him. There are just so many stories around him, and I was like, maybe let me talk about him because we are linked with him in the January transfer window probably, or in the next summer. But the rate at which news is, spreading around him, Edwin talks, agent comes out. And of course now we have a big fight with RB Leipzig with the same player. I don't know whether we shall beat Leipzig actually to his signature, because Leipzig and Salzburg have a very good partnership. They have a very good history in selling and buying players. But anyway, let us talk about that and more. Dominick Szoboszlai, is he the answer to the questions Arsenal need? Is he the only player we need, or we need a couple of them? I need your opinions. I need your comments in the comment box, and of course don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, give me your views. Let's take one article from football.london. They've written it today. Edu has already held talks over 22 million Arsenal transfer to complete Mikel Arteta's squad, and they are saying Arsenal remain interested in signing Red Bull Salzburg midfielder Dominick Szoboszlai, and have reportedly opened talks with his agent over a 22 million transfer move. Arsenal are already making plans for the January transfer window in 2021, with Dominick Szoboszlai leading the list. That's the first story. I think this Dominick Szoboszlai story has been around for the past 48 or 72 hours. I've been trying to follow it slowly by slowly. Now, in the last 3 hours, Football.London have also written and said RB Leipzig are on the verge of a 17 million transfer. That is terrible news for Arsenal and Mikel Arteta. They are saying Arsenal have been linked with a move for Red Bull Salzburg midfielder Dominick Szoboszlai, but the Gunners are reportedly set to miss out on a 17 million January transfer window for the player. Arsenal appear to have missed out on signing Red Bull midfielder Dominick Szoboszlai, according to the Sports Bild. As per Transfer Market, the 20-year-old is on the verge of joining Bundesliga outfit RB Leipzig when the January transfer window opens. In addition, the report states that Szoboszlai will cost 20 million euros, that is 17 million pounds, plus add-ons to become the 18th player to move from Salzburg to Leipzig since 2012. So, the positive story, the negative story, both on the table. What should we look at? Where should our focus actually bend? I'm going to look at both stories. I cannot really ignore the fact that Arsenal need a creative midfielder, and Szoboszlai has been one of the players that are heavily linked with the club. Of course, with Semowa, you cannot forget that. But you can also you can't undermine the fact that Leipzig and Salzburg have something in common, especially when it comes to the transfer market. And that's why I think if they had wanted to take Erling Haaland, they should have. They could. They have sold the two players. The two teams have exchanged 18 players ever since 2012, like we have seen. So you can't just think about that and you're like, we can beat RB Leipzig onto the midfielder. But for me, it would be a big signing for Arsenal. It would be a remarkable signing. He's a very young player, 20 years of age. I don't know why I call him 22, but he's 20 years of age. For me, he's proven, especially when it comes to talent. He's a proven talent. He has played a couple of games this season, a couple of games last season, and his abilities, his quality, his talent is not, he has already manifested, proven to anyone that is a player of quality, a player of ability. And I think this is the reason as to why Arsenal has shifted their attention from Semowa, who was our leading priority transfer target, to Dominick Szoboszlai, because first and foremost he's cheaper. I can't explain the reason as to why he's cheaper. He's less than 20 million pounds quid. I can't explain that, because Salzburg are fond of selling players at very cheap prices. You look at how they sold Erling Haaland, Takumi Minamino, by the time these players leave Red Bull Salzburg, they are very, they're hyped. They have written sentences, they have written statements around their names. They're big names, they're big players, they're future prospects. They have a lot of competition, but they never sell the players at a very expensive price. And the player could actually leave for RB Leipzig. It's going to be a very big miss for Arsenal. And Mikel Arteta and Edu, I pray, if they still have anything they can do, they should to get Dominick Szoboszlai. It's going to be a very big, remarkable signing for Arsenal if they do that. Of course, there were reports that we were in talks that, Edu had talked to his agent and so on. Of course, like I say, whenever we lose a game, these reports came out after the Aston Villa defeat. Whenever we lose a game, these reports are going to come out. Arsenal is linked to this one, Arsenal wants this one, Arsenal is in talks with this one. And it's pretty clear that most of the transfer reports that come out when a team loses a game, or maybe a player who's linked has gets a very good weekend, a very good midweek match and performance, and something like that. But I'm not really disproved. I know that Arsenal is linked to the player. We love the player. It's very clear that we need a creative player. It's not a number 10, which convinces me more that Mikel Arteta could actually love to work with him. He's not, he doesn't play like Messi does. He doesn't play a traditional number 10 role or kind of style. He's more for me as an Asamoah, though he scores more, he creates more, he involves more in goal creation. And he could be that kind of player that Arsenal is lacking, because if you have Partey and Xhaka or Ceballos, then you just need that player who can, flick on moves and start, initiate attacking moves into the club. And I think that for me that could be Dominick Szoboszlai if we get the chance to beat RB Leipzig off his signature. There are rumors that RB Leipzig and Salzburg have something in common when it comes to the ownership, and I think that's the reason as to why Leipzig can buy anyone they want from Salzburg, like their academy. But if we brought in decent money, I think that then Salzburg would think twice, either to sell to us or sell to RB Leipzig. But for me, he's a good player. The talks are not yet confirmed, so there isn't anything confirmed that that Edu is in talks. Even if they have been reported, nothing has been reported that they are in intensive talks or intensive stages, or this has come out of the talks. Actually, it's just something like we held talks with the agent of the player, just as simple as that. So let's see. I think the general transfer window is going to decide. It's going to be the decider whether we take the player or we don't. For me, I think we can take him. RB Leipzig, they do not have extra loads of money. All they have is the relationship between them and Red Bull Salzburg. You can break that if you offer a bigger offer than them. And Szoboszlai is a 20-year-old midfielder, highly talented. In the next 2-3 years, if he continues to be the player he's probably going to be, a Kai Havertz, Jadon Sancho, a Kylian Mbappe in terms of price. If he crosses over to Leipzig, you're going to buy him 2-3 summers down the road when he's 23, 24. You're going to buy him at 75 million, 60 million, 80 million, because we know what Leipzig can do to players. We now look at Timo Werner. Apart from the fact that Chelsea took advantage of the release clause, he's a decent player, and Chelsea could have paid more than that if it weren't for the release clause. If they had decided to sell him earlier, or convinced him to stay another season, extend his contract, and wait for a decent buyer, I think they would have got more money from Timo Werner. He had a decent season. He's a decent striker, and Chelsea, better than anyone, because they have him right now. They understand that. They have Datu Upamecano, they have Konate, they have they have a couple of players there. So if he goes to Leipzig, it's gonna be very expensive in the coming summers. Of course, if he comes to Arsenal, it will be debatable, because we are not going to look at much of his development. We are going to look at much of what he can offer. Right now, we cannot really afford to give players a lot of time. And that's why you see players like Pepe, players like Bukayo Saka, players like Gabriel Martinelli. It's either you deliver or you're not delivering. You know, Reece Nelson, Jose Willock, those, you know, such kind of players. You know, he's in that caliber, but he's extremely talented and better than them. So when it comes to Arsenal, yes, I know, you know, he'll be a young player and so much, but we are not going to focus on his development. We're going to look at how much can we extract out of him, how much can we use his talent and the ability to push us forward. And for me, he's a good player. You know, he's a bowler. One of the things that Arsenal fans would love about him, he's a bowler. He reminds you of a Dennis Beckham or something like that. And for Mikel Arteta, a manager who doesn't feel like he needs a stark number 10, a traditional number 10, you're gonna use him. You know, he runs all over the field. He's a very good passer of the ball. I've seen him, you know, track back when the club loses the ball and they're not in possession. He's a good player. He's a good player. And for me, he can turn around our season like Bruno Fernandes turned around Manchester United season last season, because they were nowhere Champions League positions, but finally they signed this guy, 46 million pounds, and you know, he works for them, and they cannot even feel that they bought him at 46 or 45 million pounds. And for me, you have Partey, you have Ceballos, or Granit Xhaka. You have a defensive structure with a very well organized defense. Gabriel Magalhaes and David Louis or Rob Holding or whoever, you know, he's playing with, and then Kian Tierney. You have a good goalkeeper in Burnley. Or you just need a player who can, you know, add the creativity in front of Partey and Granit Xhaka, and that could be Dominick Szoboszlai in this case, because basically what we need is 2-3 more chances. More chances than what we are creating now. That's what we need this season. If we can create 2-3 more chances per game, more than what we are creating right now, and these chances are decent. Like I told you, Aubameyang, if Aubameyang is going to play to the left, then it's going to be released more, you know, on a number of occasions. It's going to be, you know, playing on the left like Mikel Arteta wants. If he's going to be playing as a striker, he needs the chances. He needs the ball onto his boot to cross the line, to make it cross the line. And right now, we don't have anyone who's making that, you know, Aubameyang, you know, reaching those places, and you feel like, you know, this should have been a goal. Just, you know, apart from the Manchester City chance, yeah, I thought, you know, he should have scored that. The Manchester United game, he scored the penalty, but did he actually have any decent chances apart from the penalty? The Hector Bellerin chance, that was too far, 2-3 seconds far from him. He couldn't reach there in time. I think we just need to get someone who can create chances for Aubameyang, Lacazette. If we are going to judge Lacazette, then let us create the chances for him, the decent chances for him, and, you know, let us feed him like we feed, you know, like we fed Olivier Giroud. Because when I think Giroud is one of the most lucky, you know, strikers we have ever had at Arsenal. He was at the club when we had Santi Cazorla, we had Ozil, we had Jack Wilshere, we had Aaron Ramsey. That was creativity. That was class. Giroud could miss chances. And by the way, the reason as to why many people think Giroud was a successful striker at Arsenal, he scored many goals, but they don't look at the fact that he missed millions and millions of chances. What a waste. What a waste Olivier Giroud was. Giroud, Sanogo. Of course, you know, he demands some respect on his name. Yeah, there are things he did for us, and you're like, okay, Giroud, big up my blood, you know, you did this, that was decent. But there are things, you know, he did, and you're like, no, Giroud, you're not the quality. So, anyway, Szoboszlai, rumors are flying around that we are holding, we have held talks with his agent. Of course, anyone is agent, but could it be that RB Leipzig will get his signature and not us? That's where I'll start in the evening live show, so make sure you tune in. It's going to be at exactly 9 p.m. Yeah, 9 p.m. I'll be live if nothing changes, if my internet is okay, if my what?